Hello, my name is Benjamin and you are watching Benicarus Trades. Welcome to the show. This is my weekend edition for the trading week ending on December 15th of 2023. So of course this was a crazy week. You have all heard it. Many things happened, especially of course the FOMC meeting where Jerome Powell was announcing that there are no further rate hikes and we can expect to see at least 3 rate cuts. And what does the market do? It goes flying to the moon, and we are actually penciling in now around 6 to 7 rate cuts. Kind of optimistic. So where does it leave us now? Why we have 7 weeks of gains? We have to ask ourselves, how likely is it that this is going to continue? And just from a numbers perspective, in my opinion, it is of course getting less and less probable that we are going to see more weeks of gains. Doesn't mean that I am bearish. I'm just saying if I want to enter the market, I'd rather be a little bit more careful and prepare for possible pullbacks. It is interesting though that the markets are extremely bullish. Look at this from the latest sentiment survey data. 51.3% are bullish, which is already crazy, but 19.3% are only bearish, and that's a reading we haven't had in almost 6 years. So that's pretty interesting in my opinion, and this being a contrarian indicator might suggest that soon this is going to be over. Now, are we going to see a pullback that is worth calling a pullback, or maybe even a correction? We will see. On the other hand, of course, this being December and we are now going into the last full week of trading in December before people are going on vacations and celebrate Christmas, there is not too much room left for a December rally. So we will see. So what happened during this last week? We have on a sector basis real estate, basic materials, industrials, consumer cyclicals, financial and technology advancing at least 2.95%. And the only red sector was communication services, barely at negative 0.38%. The futures have some craziness to offer as well. Palladium being completely crazy with almost 25% gains. Coffee, oats, the 30-year bond, of course, gasoline, lean hog, silver, all advancing quite a bit, while we only have sugar, ethanol, natural gas pulling back. On an individual stock basis, we do have a lot of greenery again on the weekly chart, especially semiconductors are going crazy again. Of course, Broadcom at the back of earnings was pushing up so much. We are almost at a 20% gain for the week. And also Intel, AMD, Qualcomm, ADI, all almost in the double digits. Now, communication services were dragged down, as we just saw, especially from the behemoth Google, which was pulling back a little bit over 2%. On the back of bad earnings, or let's say a little bit more of a careful forecast, Oracle was pulling back almost 10%, so did Adobe, and Microsoft, not having too much to report, is kind of in the same position as the rest of the Magnificent Seven, which is that they already pulled the market all the way up, But now it's the time for the smaller stocks, small caps and mid cap, and so it feels like the money is rotating out of the Max 7 into all the unloved stocks that are undervalued or at least far away from their last all-time high. Now, as I said, Intel did have a really nice rally, but in the end it wasn't a crazy move as we have seen with AMD, even though Intel unveiled a new AI chip to compete with Nvidia and AMD. So I'm glad Intel is also still in the game, being a stock that I initially thought is a little bit overvalued. Now, of course, the cards have changed, and we will see what the analysts are going to do with this stock and reevaluate their fair price value and their price targets. We do have this SPY being, of course, up 7 weeks in a row. Now we are seeing a little bit of a pullback in this candle, and we are at the top of a Bollinger Band. It is happening on high volume, so let's see how this one will go next week. The triple Qs made a big move, and it looks like a super strong candle for the weekly chart. We are here as well on the top of the Bollinger Band, which always makes me feel like we should be a little bit more careful. However, on the slow stochastics, we are also maybe locking in this momentum, and it might go up a lot more. So the IWM did also have a humongous move, but the IWM is not at the same valuation as it was back in November of 2021. So it still has a little bit of room to the upside, which is of course good to know, because it does mean that we can still get into the markets. The Dow Jones, on the other hand, is already doing what nobody expected, which is clocking in some new all-time highs. So that's pretty interesting, and of course here we are as well above the Bollinger Band, the weekly that is, and we have to see if this one does still have some more steam for more upwards movement. The long-term treasuries are also on a really nice move to the upside, and also we do have a lot of room to the recent high of November 2021, where it was at $153. I believe we are now going to maybe hit critical resistance at 100, maybe seeing a little bit of a pullback. Let's check out AMD, which is a stock that was really on the move, almost at a level of $160. I don't think it was ever that high before, so there is still a little bit of room to the upside, even though of course we are maybe seeing some pullback soon. Nvidia is now in some sort of sidewards movement, while Intel is grinding its way further up and up and up. Let's have a look at Broadcom, which of course had a parabolic move today on the back of good earnings, and that's something we love to see, but I don't think it happens all that often that a stock at a price tag of $1,000 is making moves like this. Let's check out Oracle. Oracle being a little bit of a beaten down stock due to a not so great cloud business outlook, and of course we were pulling back more than 10% for the week. Let's check out Tesla. Tesla having a negative catalyst this week, which was a recall of 2 million vehicles in the United States due to a problem with the autopilot. Being Tesla, of course, this is a software issue that they can basically fix over the air with a over-the-air update. So not too much harm that happened. We can see a long wick down here, but in the end, the Tesla stock advanced nicely. Some of the smaller cap stocks are also making moves like we haven't seen in a while. For instance, we do have RIVN here advancing 20% last week. The EV automaker is, I believe, a promising candidate for the future because it really filled a niche in the delivery space, and Amazon is invested in RIVN. The TAN sector, which is Enphase, making a move this week of more than 20%, seemingly forming a bottom at the $78 mark and now already at $125 within just a little bit over a month. First Solar and Solar Edge making similar moves, while Solar Edge is a little bit of the stock that has been beaten down quite a bit in the past. So of course we have to talk as well about crypto. Bitcoin right now hovering at around $42,000. So last week was of course a crazy week for Bitcoin, making moves to $44,000, then pulling back a little bit, and now we have to see if we can consolidate in this area. So of course we do have to also talk about oil if you want to talk about the stock market, and it has been on a pretty substantial move to the downside during the last few weeks and months. I do believe that oil might form a bottom soonish. We do have a major resistance and support area at $68 mark. We do see the last candle with a super long wick might suggest that there is a reversal happening soonish. On the other hand, of course, we do have some geopolitical issues, which is an oversupply from the United States, Canada, and Brazil, as well as Russia seemingly being able to sell their oil supplies to its partners, pulling a little bit of pressure on the oil markets. So next week we do have a number of numbers coming out which are evolving around the housing market. We have building permits, existing home sales, and so on, as well as CPI number for Europe, as well as for the United Kingdom. We do have GDP numbers for the United States, and we have as well the core PCE price index for the US coming up next week. So that's going to be interesting. And of course, we are almost in the Christmas season. On the earnings side, we also have a bunch of interesting titles, which is Nike, Micron, FedEx, and those are the big ones. So of course, if you enjoyed this video, please make sure you subscribe and also give me a thumbs up. That would help me out a lot. If you want to help me out even more, please check out Interactive Brokers. They are the broker of my choice on a daily basis. Please use my link in the description if you want to open an account with them. I also am a big fan of Tradesviz, which is a great journaling software for your trades. And last but not least, I am a big fan of the Trading Pit, which is a challenge. You can either do the CFD or a futures challenge, And what I really especially like is that they are based in Liechtenstein in Europe, and they have a total challenge duration of 90 days, which is quite nice. All right, that's it for the day. I hope you'll enjoy your next week, and I'll talk to you soon.